Welcome to your last section of your Prepare Module 1, and this is lesson design. So you have set the tone in your classroom, you have reflected on your mathematical practices, and you've investigated and done all of the pre-work. Now you're doing your lesson design. There are 4 big things to think about here. Consider, identify, expectations, and rigor. When you are designing your lesson, consider learning styles, pacing, and differentiation. Each class you have is different. You might be able to recycle a lesson from a previous year, but you need to make sure you are making adaptations for the students you have now in this year. Use those effective questioning techniques and use them to develop high quality questions. This is a great time to tap into those 8 standard mathematical practices that were discussed earlier in the module. And then also consider your students' strengths and weaknesses and use those to your advantage. Use the strengths to push the lesson forward and maybe use the weaknesses to identify areas that you really need to focus on and spend extra time on. Identify what prereq skills and common misconceptions for that specific lesson might be. iReady and the Teacher Toolbox Toolkit has this laid out for you. So if you go and investigate that, it will let you know what skills and what lessons precede each lesson. Use best practice student-centered strategies to reach all of your learners, and key vocabulary and consider appropriate context. Once again, that Teacher Toolbox has a lot of great resources with math vocabulary. Define mastery expectations and determine how you will communicate them to students. This is important. Students need to know what they need to do to succeed in that lesson and what they need to do to determine that they have nailed it, that they have got the concept and that they are ready to move on. You can do this by working backwards. State the expectation first and then show them all the steps that it takes them to get to that expectation. You also need to balance components of rigor equally. This just means have a balanced lesson of fluency, conceptual understanding, and application. So instead of students watching teacher do math examples for the entire math block, make sure it is well balanced and that there is some rigor to not only give students a full scope of the lesson and the concept, but to keep student engagement. And so they are with you and they're not getting bored.